Hey, everybody, welcome to the Rock Shop with Ralph, your source for all things entertainment. Tonight, our very special guest, Mr. Tod Howarth. He is the former vocalist and guitarist in Frehley's Comet. He's the former vocalist in Four by Fate, and he is currently embarking on a solo career, which he had before, but he also has 3 solo CDs coming out and an autobiography. Oh, wait, and I also failed to mention that he was involved with Ted Nugent and Cheap Trick. That's a lot for me to say all at once. I'm sorry. I fudged it a little bit, Todd, but
It doesn't matter. I mean, everybody gets the idea of it. Hey, Ralph, how you doing, buddy? I'm glad to be here.
good. And I have to tell you, it is an honor to be face to face with you finally, because I am a huge fan.
I'm flattered. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for being here. So how is it over there in was it sunny California?
You know, it was a great day today. Actually, it warmed up. We were up to 73 here on the coast. So the wife and I we decided to go back over and go rollerblading by the bay, the harbor, actually, real close to the airport. And there's this area where you can rollerblade for miles. We just did that for a couple miles. And then she wanted me to take a drive down by the beach where we live, just on the shoreline. So we did that. It was beautiful out today. And yeah, it was fantastic. We've had some cold weather lately and some rain here and a couple storms, but it's phenomenal today.
All right. It was 28 degrees here yesterday. What's cold for you?
Cold, well, actually, all my years of traveling, that's pretty cold. I mean, when I'm in the cold like that, though, I better be playing in some posh places or snowboarding and snow or skiing. That's when I like to be in the cold. But I remember when I was touring with Ted Nugent, we went through Middle America, right in the middle of winter, and it was butt freezing. So
He's from Michigan.
Yeah, that's when he was living in Ann Arbor.
Yeah. So he knows the cold weather.
And then with Cheap Trick, there was a lot of cold tours and places. So yeah, for San Diego, in the mid 50s, the beach, it's kind of cold, brother. We got a chilly wet, but 28, that's pretty cold.
Yeah, we've had a rash of snowstorms here, and we had about 12 inches, 12 to 18 inches of snow over the last 2 weeks. But anyway, I'm very happy to be face to face with you, which I told you before. So we're going to start a little bit from the beginning. You were in a band called 707,
Yes.
and they had the hit Megaforce. Now, there's a little bit of history with Megaforce. Do you want to tell us about the history of Megaforce?
The band, I joined the band actually just after they released their second album. Their first album had a semi-hit Billboard charting song called "I Could Be Good for You."
Yes.
And then by the time I joined, the second album was done, and then we did a couple more albums. But the song Megaforce, we were approached by a company to do a song for the movie Megaforce. It was coming out then. It was kind of like a futuristic war movie, and there was dune buggies and machine guns. And now I just actually sold my sand rail, which is a real dune buggy. And
I've seen that in one of your videos.
Yeah, the Cold Beach video. Yeah,
Cold Beach. Yep.
And it was funny because when we did the song for Ron Nevison in L.A. and Jonathan Cain was in there as well. That's another long story, but then we finally the song got done and we watched it in the theaters in the movie. We were all like looking at what the hell is this?
Yeah,
this is dreadful. It's a very iconic movie now for a lot of people, but the funny thing about it was, fast forward later into Frehley's Comet, Ace heard the name of the song. He goes, what's this one? I said, well, this is the song I did with the 707. We did this for the movie. He goes, I like the title. What does this sound like? So I played it for him, and then he wanted to recut it. Yeah. And I said, I at that time, I wasn't a lot of good blood between me and a couple of former members of the band. I said, I really prefer not to do it. I just want to get into that. And he's like, well, we could change up the lyrics here and there, and we should do it. And of course he's the boss, so we did it.
Well, here's what I want to say about that. Megaforce was actually the label that he was on. That's my record label. That's my record label.
That's the way he liked it. I'm thinking the correlation here is like, here's point A and point B. Okay, so all right,
Right.
whatever. Well,
What
yeah,
I
we went over well.
what I want to mention to you about that song, okay, and I don't know if this has been said before, but whatever. Here's what I think. Jonathan Cain was credited as a co-writer on that song.
Oh, yes, he was.
All now, all because of that synth introduction, right? Because that doesn't even belong in that song there.
Nope.
No, I mean, when you hear the song, I'm like, what the fuck? We can say fuck. What the fuck is that piece doing there? So it seems, I mean, what I got from it was he put that piece in there to get songwriting credit. I mean, that's the way I look at it.
Bingo. That's what happened. The short story, and this is in the book, but we walked in and this is Pat Benatar's producer. We're like, oh, this is gonna be great, blah blah blah. And then all of a sudden there's a keyboard sitting up in the console area, and there's Jonathan Cain. And Jonathan Cain from the Baby Days, he's here. Oh wow, nice to meet you, and everything like that. And I had my Les Paul 1957 TV model through a 100-watt Marshall I was playing, and it sounded like killer.
Right, a rock song.
That and when Jonathan Cain heard, he comes racing out the studio. What are you playing? What are you using? Well, he didn't realize I had the 57 hot rod, so I got a fat sound. Anyhow, so us being kind of young and naive, I guess, to the point. We got this intro for the song. We're like, oh well, we didn't really think of okay, whatever, So he pushes the button, the sequencer goes, and it's a chord keyboard. I remember that because I had to buy one later. And we go, it's kind of like, back then it was analog horrible. But I guess it kind of works. And we had Jim go in there and do the hits right before so he could splice into the top of the tune. So yeah, song comes out later on and on the record. Also, we get a letter from Jonathan Cain's attorney. Yeah, we're going to need a piece of the songwriting.
There you go.
Write the song. Oh yeah, he did. But yeah, he did.
Sure, he did. He played that little keyboard part in the front.
Oh, that's the first and last big lesson I learned about co-writing.
Be naive.
I don't mind co-writing with certain member like Pat Gasparini and I from 4 x Fate.
Phenomenal guitarist.
Oh, he's a phenomenal guy. He's a prolific.
I was just listening to him on the way in, buddy. I'm telling you.
I love his stuff, and it'd be fun to be able to really get together with him and do that kind of. But getting back to the co-writing thing, it really put a sour taste in my mouth for years.
Yeah. Well, we got a little bit ahead, but everybody out there knows that song is on my page. The real rock version. What is it called? Calling to You.
Calling to You. Yeah. And with those changed lyrics, today's change, strike the drums, stand up and shout.
Yeah.
Rock and roll is what we're all about. Which at first when I heard him, say that, I thought, yeah, no. But then I went, well, and then it made it work, and it does work, Well, it's kind of me being snotty at the point in time, but it does work, and it did work for the tune.
But you guys smoke it. The 4 x Fate version, Return of the Comet version on my page. I'm like, this is it's so awesome. Yeah, it's up on my page, both my personal and my show page, and everybody's been going crazy over it because I love that song. Love that song.
Good.
So we'll get it now. You left 707. Actually, a little bit of a Kiss trivia we got is I know that you guys were on Casablanca Records,
right?
Which was Kiss record label, and then you moved over to Boardwalk. Was that because Neil Bogart went over to Boardwalk? There you go. Okay.
Neil loved the band 707, and he believed in the band, and that was a godsend for the band.
Right.
And then he passed away.
Yeah.
And then we heard that heavy rock was coming back in. I was all thrilled because I was always a heavier rocker than 707 anyhow. And I was like, oh, okay, good. We can write some real heavy stuff, but we just, unfortunately for 707, it went downhill. There was a lot of reasons why, and it was unfortunate because it was a good band, and we had new singer Kevin Shelfon in there, and he was a smoking singer.
Well, one of the reasons how you got the Ace gig, was it because of Neil Bogart? Because of that correlation with Kiss? I mean, how did you get the gig with Ace?
No, what happened after it was years later after I left after 707 disband, I moved back down to San Diego. When I was living in San Francisco, Ted Nugent came to San Francisco to record his Penetrator album.
Penetrator, right.
With Brian Howe singing lead.
Brian Howe.
And I sang backups along with Kevin Russell, the guitar player from 707. So, and plus Ted and Doug Banker knew of our band. I mean, they actually tried to help manage us towards the end. They knew us from being on tour with them. So they liked the band, they liked us. So they tried, Ted finished his record with Penetrator, and then he gave me a call in, I think, either late December, early January. Said, hey, look, we're going out on the road. You want to come out? And I mean, you got the gig, but you want to come out and audition, make sure everything's going to gel. So I said, sure. And that's how I got into Nugent. Then from Nugent, I went to Cheap Trick. And the Cheap Trick is when I was on tour with, we were doing a double bill with John Waite from the, when he had the big hit, I Ain't Missing You.
I Ain't Missing You.
And Missing You. And John Regan was playing bass for John Waite. And
John Regan played with everybody.
Oh, he's smoking. And I used to listen with Frankie LaRocca and John up there. And the rhythm section was so fat and huge. And I just came up to John and said, I'm Tod Howarth, the keyboard player for Cheap Trick, and you guys sound phenomenal. I just love the bottom. Because I like bass. I'm an old bass.
Yeah, so am I. John reminds me of Eric Clapton on the bass. The way he just, he's like a slow hand, but it's so.
He sits when John Regan and Anton and I would cut 3
or in the pocket.
Oh my God, it was huge.
Yep.
Yes, he was like, it's like wow, it was so much fun. So yes,
I agree. I agree. So we got you going. Now you're in Frehley's Comet. Okay, they released the first album. Eddie Kramer is the producer.
Right.
You want to start telling me a little bit about how that album was recorded, how you came about?
Part of it was already recorded before I joined.
Richie Scarlett.
Richie was in the band,
right?
But he didn't contribute in the tracks. I mean, besides co-writing for Breakout, there was no guitar playing on there from him that I believe, and I had no idea of who he was really in his talent, for that matter either. I just replaced him and Arthur Stead, who was a keyboard player, who by the way was playing with John Waite at the time I met John Regan. Anyhow, so John Regan thought it was a good idea to bring me into the band because I'm a singer first off. That's what I probably can do best, is melody and singing. So John thought, and songwriting. So I thought we should bring this guy in. It'd be one guy versus two guys, and this guy can sing his ass off too. Blah blah blah. And so I was brought in through John, and I flew out in the middle on the way to a leg for Cheap Trick. I flew into New York and then flew wherever I was going for Cheap Trick. And I auditioned the first time, and everything went fine except for, Ace wasn't overly impressed with me, because I'm not a flash. I can play lead, but I'm not a Richie Scarlett lead player. I don't just jump up in your face. That's, Richie, that's what Richie does. He's phenomenal at that. I'm more of a songwriter, and I arrange things, and everything's a melody and that type of thing. So I wasn't that impressed. And John said, "No, trust me, you got to let this guy come in the band." So he had me out again, and I, kicked it up a couple notches, and Ace went, "Oh, okay, I think this will work," and that's how that comes to pass. That was in January, I think, January of '87.
Right. Yep. Well, here's what I'm going to tell you as a huge Kiss fan and a huge Ace Frehley fan. When he formed Frehley's Comet, I was skeptical at first because and this is my take. Okay, I'm a fan. I love him. I have Kiss everywhere here, and I'm going to tell you straight out. Well, I believe that Ace is a phenomenal guitarist.
Yep.
I think Ace is a okay songwriter. That's my opinion. My opinion. So when you came in the band, and we're going to get to that on the second album, but we were on the first album here. When you came in the band, I was like, wow. When you're talking on the cuts that you're on, Breakout, Something Moved, excuse me, Calling to You. These other ones, I'm like, this is what he needs. He needs somebody to pick up the slack, and to sing those songs, because especially the songs that you sing on, I could never picture Ace singing those songs. Even the guitar work, it suits you so well. and you know this when a song starts on a Frehley's Comet album, I know you're going to sing that song just by the way the guitar is being played. And I'm telling you, as a fan,
Yeah,
you know, Ace has his way, and you had your way. So you really gave that band what it needed, you know, as far as a kick in the ass. Because, and we're going to get to that with the second album, because I don't believe at the time he could have carried that whole album, and that's my opinion.
It was two different styles, and Ace, I give Ace a lot of credit because he knew he wasn't a lead singer. And he wrote some good songs for Kiss and very iconic tunes and made him a lot of money. There's no way you can take that away from him or them, or should you? But no, he's not like a songwriter in my definition, which is subjective. And
we mean this with the utmost respect. I love Ace.
Oh yeah, and no, Ace is,
everyone knows that.
When I had to start copying his lead style, I'm flopping around all over the place because I can't play his lead style. I can imitate it, sloppily, but he is an iconic lead guitar hero. Yes. He's not a songwriter hero, but he is a character hero. So with his records, he knew that he had to sing, and he wanted to sing, and he should sing, because fans did want to hear him, because that made him that much closer to them, because here's Ace actually singing, and he's playing, and he's writing the songs, as it should be. But he knew he couldn't do it all the time.
Okay. Good.
And he needs somebody else to take the relief and write, and that was me.
Yes, and that's exactly what I was explaining, and how I try to put it as politely as I could. So,
yeah, most people know that. I mean, they're not going to dispute that.
I mean, let's go through the tracks, okay? And I want to and I want to say something about one of the tracks that are in there. When we got obviously Rock Soldiers was his like mainstay. He plays it all the time. That was like his hit. Breakout was left over from the Elder album on the Kiss Elder album. Matter of fact, I even think I hear Eric Carr playing drums on that.
Eric Carr was co-writer, right?
Yeah,
I don't know if I think it was Anton Fig played drums on this track.
Right, but I think I hear a little.
Oh yeah, who knows? You never know.
I think I hear it. I don't know. Then he had the hit in the Night, which was written by Russ Ballard. He sang that one, but that wasn't something moved. We know is yours. We Got Your Rock was originally done by Sin, who Dana Strum produced them. That was a Sin song. We Got Your Rock. Love Me Right was him. Calling to You is the song which I love, and I still play in my car. Anytime I want to unwind from work, that's my go-to song from you. I'm like, I love that song. So
it's a fun tune. The construction of it is so much fun.
Yes.
To play,
yes. But I still call it Megaforce.
yeah. Well, there's two different ways to sing it, and luckily, when we first started playing, I kind of get it mixed up a little bit sometimes.
Right. Now, here's the one I want to ask you. What the fuck is that song Dolls doing on that record?
And you are joined by a large
what the fuck was that song?
It's when I heard that, again, and it may sound snobby to me, but I'm hearing it and I get jokes, but it wasn't a joke. It was an actual song. And he wrote this because, and the way it goes is, I remember asking, where would you come up with this idea of dolls? I mean, if I'm going to write a song about dolls, for me, they're coming to life in the middle of the night and trying to kill you.
Yeah.
That's why my mind goes. But he was in there, I guess, telling a story to his daughter, and when she
who was on Monique, his daughter, is on the end of the record. She
sings in the chorus part along with Kramer's daughter or granddaughter, I believe, at that time. I'm not sure. So that's kind of fun. But Ace was in there, I guess, telling her a bedtime story or tucking her in, and he's looking up and he's surrounded by all these dolls in the place, and they're all staring at him. Like I said, well, yes, because they want to kill you later on at night. Write a song about dolls that want to kill you.
Okay, so now I hear this is 87. I'm 17 years old. I'm a teenager, and a huge influence is Kiss. And I'm saying to myself, now this is at the height of Ace's. I mean, it's well documented. We're going to say excess. So I thought the song had to be about drugs. I really thought that's what it was about.
Yeah, his excesses, I think, were greatly exaggerated.
Okay.
I don't know, I mean, he liked to drink, then he stopped drinking. When I joined the band, he was not drinking. He was driven, he was hardworking, he was focused, he knew what he wanted to do, and that's the kind of band that I wanted to be in. Is something let's put this forward, let's go. Because I was always known as the asshole in my bands because I was always push and go.
Did you suffer from LSD?
Huh?
Did you suffer from LSD?
No.
Lead singer's disease?
No, I didn't. Matter of fact, I got irritated with lead singers, so that's why I just aspired to become a lead singer.
Right.
So I wouldn't put their bullshit,
Right.
But no, he was focused, and then later on, he got back into his drinking. When he drink, he get a little bit more of an attitude. I never saw him really abuse anything, so I couldn't say yay or nay about that at all. It may sound like I'm being dismissive about it, but
No.
yeah,
I just, like I said, I thought that's what the song was about, and I love Ace. I really do. He's one of my heroes.
There could have been things and elements to that could be truth. I don't know, but the way he would get sometimes when he drink too much, he could definitely come up with ideas about singing about dolls and
right.
Whatever.
You got any funny stories about touring with that band and touring with Ace?
Yeah, there's a lot. Some I don't remember. One time we were traveling in the tour bus, and we'd stop at truck stops, to get food or whatever, or diesel for the pusher for the tour bus, and sometimes we'd have handbags, that you carry the gigs, and of course they look kind of a purse you put on your shoulder. One time Ace got this outfit. I don't know where the hell he got it from, but it was really shorts and a top, and it was almost like a crop top, and it was like white with these patterns on it, and the shorts were almost a little too short, so it looked like a chick outfit. Now, and he comes out with his hair all boofed out, and with this with this purse on his shoulder, and you could hear the truckers and the CBs going, "Well, look at what the fuck have we got here?" So we better go in with him. So we all walked in with him, and like, oh god, what's gonna happen? And of course, the truckers all looking like, every goddamn where you go,
every goddamn place you go. Well, there you go. I mean,
that was a funny story, and there was a time about we were out eating at a restaurant. I think Ace and I went up to a restaurant, and he always used to like to go to the fish restaurant, and I'd go get a cocktail, and we'd be sitting at the cocktail table waiting for a table, and he'd be sitting there, and we'd be talking, and he'd just whip out his hand and dump us lobster. They just pulled out of the tank over there right on top of the table. I think he did it to somebody else too, but it was just, it's funny. And here's this poor little lobster,
It sounds like Ace.
Yeah, just a comic relief. I mean, he was a good man. He had a great sense of humor. He didn't take himself overly serious. He just wanted to play. He wanted to perform for the people and have a good time and make good money at doing it. And it was the greatest gift for me to be able to do some of the stuff I did with him.
Was Gene, Paul, or Peter ever around that band at that time?
Yeah, of course, I met Gene back in 1980 when I was playing with a band in LA when I first got there, and we were auditioning to play for Diana Ross, and he came to SIR.
Oh, he was dating her.
Yeah, and he came up to me and said, "You're playing guitar and singing, and I'll keep an eye on you." And he remembered me the next time I met him officially. But Ace and Paul had kept their distance to a degree until they started rehearsing for their tours, and we were in New York rehearsing for our tours at SIR, and that's how that whole gig came at the Limelight in New York.
Yeah, I just had Nicky Camp this past Wednesday, who was the promoter for that gig, and he told me that whole story.
Yeah,
he had that first incarnation of the reunion before '96 when they went to that whole big one. That was probably in the early '90s. But yeah, I was always curious if they ever kept in touch. You read, there's so much press that you read, and you don't know what's true, what's not true.
Yeah, there's certain business dealings. I'm sure they had to get in contact, in touch with each other. I was not privy to those, of course, because I wasn't so fixated on the business part of it, because I was never even signed to the record label. Ace was the only one signed to Megaforce. That was Ace's deal. I was hired gun.
You were just so happy to have the gig.
Well, yeah, for me it was business. It was a business, I was used to being a hired gun. I mean, it was a good band. It was close to being a band. It was going to be more of a band, but it just fell to crap after right in the middle of the Iron Maiden tour. And the only record deal I ever really had was when I signed my local band years later with Gene Simmons and Gene Simmons' label.
Right. That was Wasted I've Eight, right?
That actually before West of Eight, it was called the band was Hardware.
Oh, Hardware.
Which was kind of like the same. There was a bass player was the same. They went through many different members. It was actually Wet Camp, Hardware, and the Tod Howarth Project, and then it became West of Eight.
Right.
That was a horrible time to be pursuing old style rock because here comes grunge kicking everybody's ass.
Yeah. I just want to talk about the second album for a little bit.
Sure.
But so now the second album comes. First, I got a question about the first album. Whose idea was to put that friggin' monkey on the album sleeve? Ace's.
That's Ace's.
What the hell was that?
Well, he had a laughing fit about that proboscis monkey.
Yeah, he looked like Jimmy Durante, that
he
monkey.
Could not stop laughing about that fucking monkey. So it had to go on there. And then, the acorn spinning song. They all knew I like to do cartoons and draw. So draw something for. So I did a little cartoon of the acorn spinning. It's kind of eclectic humor,
right?
Which is Ace. That's the part of him that didn't take it too seriously. And then the 2 feet they're going opposite on the back.
Yeah, right.
Eddie Trunk's feet.
Eddie Trunk
do this weird thing like I've been in a train wreck type foot thing, and used to freak out Ace, and he would laugh about that shit too. So that's
which people may not know, but Eddie Trunk, before he was the radio star that he is now, the host of the show, that metal show and everything, he was an executive in Megaforce Records, and he signed Ace to his deal there.
Yeah, he became vice president actually. Towards the end, I believe.
I'm just a poor man's Eddie Trunk. So I'm a poor man's Eddie Trunk.
Hey, well, as long as we're all working, at least we have a glass.
Yes.
Glass half full, glass half empty. I have a fucking glass.
I'm very happy. I'm very happy that I'm working. But
one thing I tell you, and not many people, when you listen to the track "Dolls," this is how funny this shit was.
That thing creeps me out. That song,
finishing it, and we're doing it, and I'm in the studio, we're listening to it, and all of a sudden that little jingle bridge comes up with the song. I start yodeling, and they all die laughing, because I'm just fucking around. So you gotta put that on. So they throw me out in the booth.
Throw that on there. Put it on there.
Fucking yodel's hilarious. So they put it in. If you look close, you hear me yodeling.
I can hear him saying that.
All that kind of shit. And it's a lark, but I can see where a lot of people go, what the
fuck is that? Todd, I'm telling you, I'm 17 years old, and that album, there was so many fucking questions. I had it. Now we're going back. How many years later? 34 years later, I'm finally getting them answered.
Yeah.
This is great.
Better late than never.
This is great. I could just never understand it. Now, don't forget, when you're a kid, there was no internet. We didn't have internet. We didn't have all this crap we have now. We're wondering, I'm in my room like this with the album sleeve, reading the lyrics, and I'm like, what the fuck is this monkey doing on there, or what's this song doing on there? It doesn't even belong there. And by the way, Stranger in a Strange Land, total filler track.
Yeah, it was it kind of, some tracks will sit there and go nowhere.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's for me to, I don't know the writers. I don't know. So like I said, back then I was like, well, I'm working again. So that's good. I was done with Cheap Trick.
Right.
To join this band, Frehley's Comet. And so I let, it's like there's a few songs that I just really did not like playing. Yeah. And I'm not
going to say the second album, and everybody knows, and I'm going to say this again, this is an honest interview. I'm giving my opinion on it. And I love Ace. I love Frehley's Comet. I love everything about it. Ace. But the second album, if this is not a Tod Howarth solo album, I don't know what is. Until later on in your career, because this was your album, you made this, and this is my favorite Frehley's Comet album. I'm telling you,
I really appreciate that. I get blamed for a lot of things. People say, "Oh, you're trying to take over the band." No, that wasn't the case. The case was Ace had no songs.
Right.
Ace wasn't ready. We were recording. Todd's got songs. I got shitloads of songs. Here you go. I was writing two at one time. I was writing Time Ain't Running Out and another tune off that at the same time. So I had a lot of songs ready to go, and we need to fill the tracks, and that's what we did. I wanted to do more with Ace, but Ace was sick a lot through that record, and he didn't show up a lot. So we had to make it work. I got blamed for it. I was a scapegoat to a degree.
What's scapegoat?
Kind of upsetting, but
we already established it. Now here's my take, and I said this before. Ace is great guitarist. Okay, not a great songwriter. Maybe couldn't come up with 10 songs for an album. Okay, this is why you had that break between Trouble Walking, which is we're going to get into a little bit, and his next one. Trouble Walking was 89, 90. His next solo album was in 2006. 16 years, and he did come up with a great album. I love that album Anomaly that he came up with. But anyway, this Second Sighting CD, predominantly your songs, the 5 or 6 that are on there.
Yeah, half, I think.
Yeah, 5. I mean, Insane was Ace. Time Ain't Running Out, Todd, great song. Dancing with Danger was a Street Heart song. And the guys from Loverboy two guys from Loverboy wrote it with Dana Strum as well. There goes Dana Strum again with that one. And my favorite, It's Over Now. I think you got your heart broken a couple of times in your life.
That song, well, yeah, I did. I actually, yes.
Yeah.
But that song I wrote in 1986 in Rick Nielsen's condo for his parents above his parents' music store. I wrote that song on an upright piano for Cheap Trick to do. And then I showed it to Bunny Carlos when Bunny came over, because we were working on some tracks, and he listened to it. He goes, "Well, that's pretty good. Edit it down, though." Okay. So I edited it down because it was kind of long. So I showed it to the band, and the manager was like, "This is a good song. You hope the guys want to do it." So I played it for the band, and they listened to it. They went, no. They passed on it, probably because it was a little bit too much keyboard, but I wrote for them. Thank you. I wrote for them. And then I played for John Regan when we were mixing the first record, and he goes, "Holy shit." He goes, "We got to do that in the next record." And I said, "That would be great, because this song is dear to my heart." The song is actually kind of an eclectic or warning to my first and ex-wife, about certain things you need to relax about. And but it esoteric, I guess. I'd turn around the lyrics, make it more of a love song. But I got my heart broken later on in life. That wasn't it. But the song and the melody and it was just Jamie Oldacre, me and John
Great
Regan.
drummer. I'm going on record by saying what a great drummer he was.
He was phenomenal. I missed the fire of Anton Fig when we first got Jamie in there, but Jamie added a whole different element and brilliance to a lot of the Comet songs. And but for that song with just the three of us cutting it, oh my God.
Well, I'm going to embarrass myself a little bit now, because that is one of my favorite songs, and I'm going to try to sing it for a little bit.
That would be great.
I can't say the "It's Over Now" part. To this day, I still can't do that. But it's "You will never feel the pain that hurts."
There you
go. It's over now. Can't do it. I can do "It's Over Now." Whoa.
That's very good. You have to have that. Well, see, that part was written for Robin Zander.
I can't. He's got it. He's still got it. Oh my God, I love that song, Todd. It is a very haunting song. It brought tears to my eyes to how many people love that song when 4x8 first started playing. And then you re-recorded it.
We recorded, yeah, with AJ.
I was just listening to it before I got here.
And it's phenomenal as well. I mean, I'm thankful for that. But when you see the people watching it and listening to it live, and the tears come down their eyes. And
that song hits me here every time. I'm telling you.
It has a lot of indelible memory for a lot of people. And I'm so very proud for that to have happened. I was devastated when they put it out as a single and just dropped it. Nothing happened. And I was like, oh my God, power ballads are huge. We could have been big with this, you know?
A year too late.
Yeah.
A year too late.
Yep.
That song should have been number one up there with Every Rose Has Its Thorn, you know, Patience. Here's the thing. That
made millions.
That CD, that album came out in 87, around that year, when you had Guns N' Roses out, you had Def Leppard, Hysteria out, you had 87, when you had all those major acts where they were selling 5, 6, 7, 8 million records, you know, and all the attention was on those guys. Right. And then you had that song and that CD that was out. It's very hard to have all the people listen to at once, you know. And that's my opinion. Yeah, that's my opinion.
That's very valid. I mean, the demographics and the accessibility to those demographics, timing, it's advertisement, it's placement, it's visual, it's everything. And like I said, I'm glad that people still appreciate that song today. As a matter of fact, I'm writing a song right now. I'm recording actually this very moment. It's a keyboard-oriented song, and it's running chills up and down my spine with this new tune. It's very, I'll say it's and not done on purpose, but it's kind of White Snake sounding to me. It's like, where? And I just heard it in my head 3 days ago. And I had to get the keyboard and get it down, and then I grab the drums, get the beat, and then the guitars and the 5-string bass, and it is just it evokes the same emotion of it's over now. You know, I'm always writing songs. Always.
I know. I'm going to talk about that. You have 3 solo CDs coming out.
Yes.
But just so you know, on a side note, we're going to get to 4 by Fate. That is on the 4 by Fate Relentless. He re-recorded it, and it's even better than the original version. So that's a must-have CD. I mean, but so the second sighting CD, now tension in the band, you wind up leaving.
There wasn't so much tension in the band. It was what happened after the Iron Maiden tour, and we were all sent home near financial ruin. At least I was. It really threw me for a loop, because here I come home and I've got 2 young kids, actually 3 young kids, 2 from that marriage at that point. And I'm thinking, what the hell am I going to do? I've got to get some solo thing going on, and something going on here, or the next Comet record, I've got to write even better songs. And I wanted to co-write with Ace to get more of his style locked in with something that I could write for him. But that was all not to be, because I was told that the Suits, Atlantic and Megaforce, were going, for this next record, I think we're going to have Ace write and sing everything. And I'm thinking,
that was the nail in the coffin for you.
How am I going to make any publishing money or advances or anything? I mean, I don't mind. I wasn't getting rich, not by a long shot. I made more money with Cheap Trick than I made with anybody. But I just need to be able to sustain myself. And how am I I'm not going to be able to sustain myself if I can't write songs and at least sing some songs. But, taking 4 steps backwards, that was pretty sad slap in the face. So I called up Ace, and a lot of things have been said, but this is the truth. I said, Ace, I understand what's going on and why they want it. I said, but I just can't stay. I'm going to have to strike out on my own. I'm going to have to leave the band. And he said, I really wish you wouldn't. I'd like you to stay. I said, I don't see how I have any future in this if that happens. And for me, again, it was a business move. And that's exactly where we departed.
Right. Well, as a fan, I'm going to tell you straight up, you can see the downfall of Frehley's Comet, which it wasn't Frehley's Comet anymore. It went to be an Ace solo album. But you left the band. He released the CD Trouble Walking, which I don't like. As a fan, I do not like. I'm sorry. And this is my opinion. You can see the demographics changed. The whole dynamics of the band changed. And the only song that had any relevance to me on that was Hide Your Heart, which Kiss released the same song. It was just his version of it. It was like he was like, I'm going to get them back. I'm going to release, the same song that they did, the Bonnie Tyler song.
Yeah, there were certain desires and reasons why they did that, and I'm not again privy to all that. What I wanted to do for Frehley's Comet is, and this was something that because one of the producers that almost produced this later was the late Andy Johns, and when we came to him, Andy sat and listened to stuff, and he listened to everything. And he goes, "Okay, yeah, I'll produce it," but the blonde guy sings everything.
There you go.
And Ace said, "That ain't happening." What Ace, there's speculation what he should have done, what he could have done, what he shouldn't have done, all water under the bridge. But it would have been better for Ace to let me sing majority of the songs, let him be the screaming guitar player that he was. Nobody's going to take that from him ever. Not then, not now, not in the future. That's what he was known
That's
for.
right.
You could have had me just out there bolting. I mean, you could have even had Richie Scarlett up on guitar, just let me sing lead, period, and have those guys. That would have been,
Yeah, Richie in the band, back in the band, would have been awesome. And you singing and he's doing the leads.
Yeah, and they could trade. I mean, that would have been a good lineup, but it was not to be. Of course, Ace should sing it and write some songs, but had Ace just let not even me, let's say somebody else be the lead singer in the band, it may have had more legs. Who knows?
Yes.
But I'm just thinking that we may have had a little bit more life and validity.
And as I stated again, I'm a huge Ace fan. I love Ace. I love Kiss, all things Kiss. It's just a subjective opinion that I didn't particularly like that album.
And that's true. I mean, if people ask me about being a fan of Kiss, I said, no, I was never a fan of Kiss. I grew up in California, ’79, Van Halen. I was. There
you go.
Everything for me was like fat, 100-watt Marshalls and all that kind of sound. But as I got more intertwined with Kiss and the family tree, I learned to, well, geez, beside their marketing, they're brilliant. What they did, the stage show, brilliant. I gained a lot more respect and started liking the band far more in the latter years than I did when I was, younger. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of great Kiss stuff out there and Kiss related stuff, and Ace, and I'm a small part of that. So.
Yeah, and you're a great part of it, Todd.
Thank you.
So you left the band, and I want a side note. I want to just talk to you about, because I'm a drummer, and I know you play the drums as well.
Badly.
A little bit. Some of the drummers that you've played with. Jamie Oldecker, who also got a raw deal, because I know there was talk how he played the Kiss songs when you guys played the Kiss songs. Yeah. He didn't play them like Peter Criss. But to each his own, he's a phenomenal drummer. All I have to do is tell you, look what he plays with Eric Clapton.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man. Vinny Appice, who's one of my drum heroes. I'm hoping to have him on the show because he plays with Jim Crean. As I was telling you before, he played in Dio. Obviously, we know that. Jimmy DeGrasso, who played in actually the second incarnation of White Lion. He played with
Y&T,
and he played in Megadeth.
He did my demo for me for Hardware, which got us signed.
There you go. And him and James Lomenzo were a hell of a rhythm section.
Oh yeah,
rhythm section.
Yeah, good guys too.
Yeah. Ricky Parent.
Play with him. What a phenomenal.
Enough's Enough.
The late Ricky Parent.
I mean, yeah. And Jamie Oldecker too is gone.
Yeah.
Ricky Parent played with Enough's Enough, and you always think of Enough's Enough as this glam type band, but just look at him behind the kit, man. He was phenomenal.
Ricky Parent was a monster. Yeah. He was a monster, and I love Enough's Enough. I know Chip and Donnie and the guys because they were big Cheap Trick fans, and but I love that style of music too because it's all melody. But yeah, Vinny Appice, he probably doesn't remember me playing with him because I was a brunette then in LA. He came in to do a couple. I'm not sure if he auditioned or was going to think about playing with us, but for a while there, I played with a guy called Mickey Free, and he was at a band called Valentino out of Chicago, and Vinny came in to play drums with us, along with a couple other phenomenal drummers. But I remember playing with Vinny, going, "Holy shit! Now this is a drummer." But another guy I got to mention is a guy that's local here in San Diego that played on my Cold Beach video. I played with him in one of my cover bands, and his name's Bob Sale. and he is unbelievable. He can play every style and just rip it up. He's phenomenal. Big jazz, big Genesis. Then all of a sudden, I mean, any kind of pop, rock, heavy stuff. So I've been very fortunate to play with a lot of amazing drummers.
Yes. Two things I want to mention to you, and I'm going to give you a little bit of trivia. You mentioned Vinny Appice. Now, do you know who he played with prior to playing with Black Sabbath, right? He played with Rick Derringer, who Fall by Fate covers Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo.
Okay, yeah. I do remember it. Yeah.
But you know, Vinny Appice's claim to fame was in the beginning. You know what he did, and he's one of them on one of the most iconic songs ever. He is on "Whatever Gets You Through the Night" by John Lennon. He does the hand claps.
Really?
Yes. He just happened. He was a kid. He happened to be in the studio one day, and John Lennon popped his head out and says, "Hey man, can you help me out a bit?" And Vinny was like, "What?" He says, "Yeah, come here." He went in the studio and he did the hand claps on "Whatever Gets You Through the Night."
No kidding.
Yes.
That's great trivia. I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, that's why they call me the king of the useless information.
Hey, it's not useless. It's fantastic.
Yeah. So, last thing, Rob Affuso is the current drummer in Fall by Fate. And can you get a message to him? Can you get a message to him from me?
Oh, I'll tell him. All right.
This is an Italian thing. Tell him, oh, what am I on the pay on mine list? Every time I say something on Facebook or whatever, and I comment to him, he never says a word to me. I don't know. I guess I rubbed him the wrong way or something.
He's usually pretty good. He's got a great sense of humor. He's phenomenal. Speaking of, Rob, phenomenal drummer.
Awesome drummer. I love him to death in Skid Row and the 4x8.
Yeah. And then we had with Return of the Comet, we had Steve Budgie Werner, who's another phenomenal drummer. And this was recommended by Scarlett and John Regan. Actually, Richie Scarlett said, "Yeah, we got to bring him in there." And I knew of him, but I never played with him.
I'm hopefully getting Richie on here as well.
Cool. Yeah.
Hopefully he was real busy, so maybe things are going to loosen up and he'll come on.
Yeah, he should. I can drop him a note to see if he'll do it. But great drummers. I've been very fortunate to play with great drummers.
Yes, I wanted just to point that out. So then things slowed down a bit. You went back with Cheap Trick. You toured with them in
2000 to 2006.
Yeah.
Then I went back to Japan with them in 2008
for the Budokan.
The Budokan anniversary show, and then I did. Actually in 2000 I did the Silver DVD. We filmed in Rockford, Illinois, and then I play with them here and there, a couple shows. It was funny. 4 by Fate opened up for Foreigner before we went to Australia, and then like 6 months later, I'm back, and Cheap Trick comes through town with Foreigner, and they call me and say, "Hey, you want to come down to the show?" I said, "Yeah, I'd love to come down to the show. Can you bring a keyboard?" I said, "How many songs am I playing?"
Well, Robin Zander, one of the best singers ever.
One of the most underrated, best American rock vocalists ever.
Not underrated in my book. I'm telling you.
He was. A lot of people didn't give him credit. The guy's fucking phenomenal.
And Tom Peterson, the inventor of the 12-string bass.
Yep, one of which I have. You
have it?
Huh?
You have it. You have one of the original.
He gave me one of his 12. He gave me a double neck Steinberger, a fretless bass and a 12-string. And I had that thing for 14 years. It was like permanent loan. And then he asked for it back. I said, "What's your guitar? I'll give it back to you." And this is just a couple of years ago. And he said, "I'll tell you what, I'll give you one of my 12-string basses." I said, "Done." So I did that. But yeah, Tom Peterson, he's quite a character, by the way. We used to hang out a lot after the second time I rejoined Cheap Trick because he was back in the band, in 1988, from 1988 on. But yeah, Robin Zander's and I learned how to cut a lot of my vocal or embellish my vocalizations off of listening to Robin Zander. I came from the school of high notes and singing Steve Walsh in Kansas and that kind of stuff.
I don't know how you do it, man. I'm telling you, you still do it.
It's a lot of. You got to get it going. You got to work the muscle, and you got to be up there. And I can still do it. It's different now from what it used to be, but I actually sing better now than I've ever sang.
I agree. I agree.
it's in this new stuff. I'm saying, holy fuck, it's just
Can't wait for it, Todd. I cannot wait anymore. I'm telling
But I
you.
have a lot of people to credit. You know, Robin Zander is one of them for vocals, and it's just. Hang on a second. I got a call here. Okay.
You're a busy man.
Yeah. Hang on a second. I gotta text my son actually.
Oh, okay. No problem.
Of interview. Yeah, but he would amaze me, Robin, on things he would do, and my influences range from Steve Marriott back in the day to Steve Walsh of Kansas. I could actually do Donald Fagen pretty good from Steely Dan.
Cool.
I could morph into a lot of people. I also do a great Alice in Chains Lane. And I also do Stone Temple Pilots pretty good.
Which brings me to your solo CDs, because I'm going to tell you, some of these CDs that I listen to, they're very dark, and Alice in Chains ish, that I can hear the influences on them. You released some CDs, Silhouette.
Silhouette I didn't have drums. I was
going to tell you, too much electronic drums on there.
Oh yeah. Well, and that was too much, because about 40 hours on each song trying to program them.
Yeah, you're trying to do it.
And I didn't have a drum set, unfortunately. That is part of the time when I was damn near bankruptcy. The production is pretty horrible, but some of the songs are there.
Definitely.
I had a lot of fun doing it, and I was let's see, that was about the end of my. That was 90, 95, 96. I think I recorded that. It had some good moments, but it was weak production.
Listen, Todd, everything you do is I'll support you, whatever you do, whatever you do. But you're a fan as well. Some things, some fans like, some things some fans don't like.
Right.
That was like a hit and miss. You also did Cobalt Parlor was the next one.
Now that was the one where I actually borrowed a drum set from a friend of mine, and I brushed up on my drums, as best I could. I had to actually drum first thing in the morning, because I could only track for about an hour and a half, and I was done. Rubber
That's
foot, and just done. So I got some good stuff in there. The production is a little brittle. The songs are very dark, because it's a very dark period.
Yeah, that's what I was mentioning to you. It was like a dark period of your life.
It was. I'd had a girlfriend that I wasn't sure I was gonna. I cared for her, and she was this and she was that, but she wanted to have a family. She wanted to have a child, and I said no. I can't do that. I have 3 kids now that I'm struggling to take care of. I'm not bringing another child in the world that I can take even less care of. I can't do that to myself. I can't do that to the children, the family. And so she said, well, I can't stay. And it kind of upset me. And I said, okay, well, that's what the choice you have to make. So a lot of that record is about her. And it's all, some of it's even directions to where, her parents live up near Las Vegas, and the very little lyrics. But the thing I like is I got to do everything I wanted. I played everything. I did all the recording. Unfortunately, there's downfalls for that, because you get brittle mixes, and I'm paying for it with my ears now. But I was proud of that effort. I'll say that much.
Right. Well, and I mean, that was a decent record. And then you also did West of 8.
Right. That was with a band drummer and another guitar player. And I had a bass player, but I had to let him go and I had to redo all the basses. So West of 8 was pretty good. Slamming drummer.
Was that the one that Gene Simmons signed you?
No, Simmons signed Wet Camp, Hardware, which is
Hardware
back in 90.
That was earlier. Okay.
Just before I started to play with Cheap Trick again.
All right. Yeah, that one I wasn't too sure about. That's why I wanted to ask you. And then there was an easy listening record you did as well.
Called Winter.
Right.
Right. Which is adult contemporary type stuff. Wasn't crushing guitars, drums.
Yeah.
And I did that. As a matter of fact, Bob Sale played one track there and just killed it. My then 15-year-old daughter singing backups for me on that. She did a great job. That was a lot of fun. It's just the other side of me, because I do play other instruments and write different styles of music. And And coincidentally, I'm doing a heavy CD now, an easy CD, and then an acoustic of the Frehley's Comet songs that I sang and or
That
wrote.
was going to be one of my last questions, but you answered it. Okay, that's great. So now we're up to Fall by Fate.
Yeah.
Okay. I have a little bit of a connection with this band. I'm going to tell you in a second, but Fall by Fate, this CD, and I want everybody to listen. Yeah, if any fans of Tod Howarth, you have to get this CD, Fall by Fate. It's a must-have. Every song on there smokes. He also redid "It's Over Now," which is better than the original version. But the standout tracks on this one, for me, the first one, "These Times Are Hard for Love," is by that one is one of my favorites.
Really? That's good.
Yes, I love that song. These times
John,
are hard for love.
Yeah, that was, well, I love John Waite. I was one of my favorite singers as well. And John Regan played with John Waite, and John Regan said we should do this song. And when I first heard it, I thought, I love John Waite. I'd love to do it, but I'd rather do something from the Babies than this. But he was headstrong about it. I said, okay, so we did it, and it came out pretty damn good.
That it is damn good. That's one of my favorite tracks on that album. That one, Moonshine, is the other one. I love Moonshine. I'm a drummer. Anything that has a cowbell on it, I love. That song fucking smokes from front.
Oh, that's
the beginning to the end.
That Greeny song. When Pat, Pat originally brought in "Follow Me" before he joined the band, and John brought the song to me. I said, "Oh, this is a great song. Who wrote this?" I said, "We should cut this because I just love it. It's a good song." So when Pat got into the band, he brought in some other songs that are really good, and Moonshine was so much fun. That was what an ass kicker.
One of the other standout tracks is "Hanging On," which is one of my favorites.
Pat sings that. Yeah, he does an amazing job with it.
"Hanging On," and of course, "It's Over Now" is redone. Was it a conscientious effort to redo that song? Was there?
I think it was. I think John thought that we'd give it, like a long shot second chance.
Push. Right. That's what I figured.
I said, yeah, okay, we can do it, but let's do it differently. And John said, no, we should do it exactly the way, if not better. And, it's that creative differences that took place there. And, I have a lot to thank John for in getting that song on Second Sighting. So I said, okay, then that's the way we'll do it. And that's what we did,
It's, I mean, I love that song. I mean, I can't stroke it. I can't tell you. I don't know how many more times I can say it, but I do love that song. It's just an updated version of the original one, but it's better. It's better. It's more updated. It's fresher.
Still contains, there's a couple different inflections, the melody.
Right.
It still has the haunting melodies, the haunting keyboard lines and the chords and the, my soul that I play with my Steinberg,
Right. Two more things I want to ask you. Fall by Fate, is it just dormant or is that done?
It's shelved.
Okay, so it's
you
just
can
dormant.
never really say never about anything. It got shelved because the momentum wasn't picking up like we'd hoped it would. And then we went on to, of course, our Return of the Comet, OTC, but it just got shelved because there was a couple of issues that were minor, I guess, but I would have liked to have taken it further, but it just was somewhat apparent to most everybody that it probably wasn't going to go too much further.
Right. Well, you know what, John, I'm thinking of John Regan for a second, but Todd, what gets me is, you love a band. I'll support you wherever you go because I'm a huge fan. John Regan as well, Robert Fuso. I love his drumming. But you get behind a band and you're supporting them, and then next thing you know, they're gone. This is how it is nowadays. You have people as yourself that have your hands in so many different projects at once, and you're trying to follow all of them, and then they go their separate ways. It's hard. Fall by Fate. I'm telling you, I love that band. I love that CD. I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, it's a different, and I appreciate that so much. But the business is so different now.
Yep.
So the cadence of the business dictates the rhythm of the band and the longevity of that band. So you can only bounce so far before on to the next thing, and that's unfair for the fans. And that's probably part of the reason why a lot of the younger fans, they get so flighty because they go so many different directions. Like in the old day, back in my day, it was either Skinner or Zeppelin,
Yeah.
So you had a choice, a few handfuls to pick from, and now so delineated that
Yeah.
there's so many things out there. And for me, I love a lot of the new young bands out there. I mean, like uh, Saliva. I love that band. I got into Alice in Chains and of course Stone Temple Pilots and then Korn and all kinds of stuff that
Wow.
my
You like,
fans,
I
they
would
don't.
think you were more on the melodic side of those.
Well, I am, but I'm also very heavy-handed.
Yeah, I
like
see that.
that new drummer. What the hell's his name for Korn? Jesus, that guy can slam.
Yeah.
Oh, listen to that guy. Wow, he's phenomenal. But yeah, go
So,
ahead.
a couple of things, and we're gonna wrap it up. Return of the Comet. Any shows coming up? You guys gonna get back
We
together?
had some things booked for actually later last year. We had to nix because of the COVID thing.
COVID, right?
And so that started in Europe. We were going to go to Europe. Now, just before we signed the contracts, John was handling it, and John Regan said, he called me up and said, what do you think? Should we sign the contracts for this based on what's going on? We had to do this the first part of the year. And I said, John, what if we get over there and we can't get home?
Right.
I said, this is just fucked. It's horrible, and I hate to do this, but I'm gonna say, and I had actually told the guys in Return of the Comet at the end of 2019 that I want to take a break so I can complete my stuff. But I actually agreed to do some additional shows in what would be 2020, but we decided to pull out of that, and then of course all hell broke loose and nobody was doing anything anywhere except for via Zoom or
Right. That's what we're doing now. So
Yeah.
for those that don't know, Return of the Comet is basically Frehley's Comet without Ace.
Yeah.
It's Todd, John Regan, Richie Scarlett, and who we have on drums.
Steve Budgie Werner.
Steve Warner, right?
Budgie, yeah, he's phenomenal drummer. He played with him after I left. He ended up playing with him with Richie as well, and I'm not sure if Carl Cochran was playing bass then, or not, but yeah,
because they had. That's why I asked. They have a couple interchangeable parts.
Yeah, and I knew Richie, of course, and we'd known each other over years. But when we did that, put that band together, I called up Richie and said, hey, let me fly out and see you for a couple of days. I said, hotel, you hang out at your place? Yeah, come to my place. So I came to this place. We had a blast. I mean, we're different musically, but we're so a lot alike on many different things we don't need to talk about here.
He's great. You don't call him the Emperor?
Huh?
You don't call him the Emperor?
Oh yeah, I'd call him the Emperor. Yeah,
did you hear his new song with Peter Criss, the Catman and the Emperor?
I've yet to hear it all the way. I've seen it. Yeah, I have yet to hear it.
Richie, you hit a home run with that, baby. It's on my page. As soon as it came out, I put it on both my pages. What a great way. I love to see Peter Criss back out there.
Yeah, because they're real close, and that's
just a basic. It's a Peter Criss. I mean, that song he made, it was perfect for him. Perfect for him. The drumming and the vocals, perfect for him. So just two more things. You're a busy man. You got 3 solo CDs coming out and an autobiography.
Yes.
When can we expect them?
I'm hoping to get that done by the end of this year.
Everything?
Yeah. The rock album is probably 3/4 done. The easy listening's probably 3/4 done. The Frehley's Comet acoustical stuff is about maybe 1/3 done, but it's not going to be easy to do, but it's not going to be hard to do. Everything's already written. I just have to play it differently. And then my book is actually on this very laptop where we're doing the Zoom. And that is almost done. There's some parts. The only parts that are left are, if I put them in the back of the book, are some of the adventurous sexual twists, as it were.
Whoa. Yeah. So I mean, you're doing the Frehley's Comet. You're doing like Loser in a Fight acoustically.
Yeah.
Really, all the songs that you sang in Frehley's Comet.
All the songs I sang, and it's actually not going to be
Fallen Angel.
Yeah. Yep.
Really?
Oh, Fallen
Angel.
Yeah.
I got to sing with Tod Howarth, baby. All right.
You were hitting the high notes, brother.
There you go. No, I don't know about that, Todd. I sing in an 80s cover band. I can't do your shit.
Okay. You do other stuff.
But lastly.
So it's gonna be fun because I have an idea how I'm going to translate some of the stuff to acoustical, but and then I don't, and that's kind of part of the fun of it because I'll just go and go, well, see what happens here, and I start doing something, ooh, and then it becomes fun, and then it'll be something different than didn't know you. That's weird.
Wow.
Why would you do it that way? But it'll be a different perspective.
Something moving.
It's out there. Yeah,
You still got it, baby.
I'm
All
trying.
right.
Where's it gonna go?
So we're looking forward to the 3 CDs. We're looking forward to the autobiography. Now you have a publisher for the autobiography, or you're going to be shopping it?
I have nothing for any of it.
Oh,
I have a couple of people that are waiting for the finished product. I am more inclined to just record it, release it, publish everything myself, because then based on the volume that I may or may not sell, I'll gain 100% of that.
right.
But if it gets out to somebody that says, look, we want to do all this, I said, okay, I'm going to need a fat advance. I mean, not 1970s fat advance, something in the 2020 advance, because I put a lot of time into this, and I may or may not get it back out. Well, I know I'm not going to get it back out, but if I'm going to give up part of my records, my book to somebody, I'm going to see money up front on the table, because this is probably being about 4 years in the making.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'll buy it.
I appreciate that. You'll probably get an advanced copy of something somewhere.
I'll buy it, and seriously, I'll buy anything you put out. I really will.
I appreciate that.
And I'm looking forward to it. So now I got to ask this last thing, and I promise. Okay. And you know where I'm going with this? The Vinnie Vincent debacle.
Vinny.
Okay.
Yes.
Here's what I want to ask you.
Okay.
All right. We've all seen the video. Now, for those that don't know, if you were living in a cave somewhere, okay, they were on the cruise. Vinnie Vincent made an appearance with the band Fall by Fate, hence Todd, my friend there, okay? He was supposed to go up there and do a couple of songs. One of the songs that he was doing when he first got up there was Lick It Up.
Yep.
And I have to tell you, Todd, when Vinny got up there and started playing, your face, you were like, what the fuck is going on here? I mean, I could see it in your face, because I said it watching it. I'm like, what the fuck is this guy doing?
Well,
listen, and I'm going to say this again. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'm knocking him a little bit, because you know what? If you're making an appearance and you're coming out of the woodwork after 20 some odd years, at least play the fucking song the way you're supposed to play the song. Okay. Or if you can't play, tell them you can't play. Your face, Todd, when you were there, and I don't know if you want to talk about it, you don't want to talk about it, but you were like, you were just there, like, like looking around, like.
Well, see, there's certain things when you get together with certain people, you okay, we're gonna jam, we're gonna play, and I knew he was a shredder back in the day. I don't know if at that point I didn't know if he could still play or not. I didn't know it. I was really indifferent about it. He looked a lot different from back in the old days, but
you think?
I a little, but I never really focused on him, because I never focused on this stuff. I was always doing something else. But when he came up and we actually got together the night before, and things, we went through the arrangement, or, go through it, and it was fine. Some things struck me as strange. But I guess when you're maybe rusty to agree that, things will be strange. And it was strange for me. I've been rusty a lot. When I first got 4 by Fate together, I was very rusty. But so I get that. But when he got on stage and the night of the show, I was expecting the switch to go on where he would
shred
and kick ass. And he didn't want to play any leads. And he said, well, just let Pat play. And we're like, okay, well, we don't care. We'll do anything. We don't feel threatened. We don't feel compromised. We're all seasoned players and play with a lot of big people. We don't give a shit. We'll play with whom. I'll play a tambourine if you want me to. I'm not the ego guy where I have to be up there in the limelight. I don't give a fuck about the limelight. I care about making the people happy and writing songs. So when he didn't flip the switch like we thought he was going to do, I was like, okay, maybe the next song or maybe this other song. And it never really happened. It was kind of like, well,
he was just strumming the guitar.
Yeah,
it was like he was playing "Mary Had a Little Lamb."
I'm not sure why he did, and later on he said he did it out of respect for us, which is nice, but we didn't need that, because we were there to, hey, you're gonna light it up, right. Because we want to make these people happy in the front here. They came to see you. We're here, yay, but they came to see you. They want to see you kick some ass. Now, whatever he decided to do, that was his decision, you know.
Well, one thing that I will say, and it's been in print, it's been out there, was a friend of the show, Jim Crean, who's a good friend of ours, who was actually the vocalist in the Appice Brothers, who you played with, Vinny. He was the vocalist, and Carmine Appice, he pronounces it Appice, was the drummer, and Tony Franklin was going to be the bass player on these gigs that they booked in Nashville with Vinnie Vincent. Mm-hmm. So if he knew how to play and he had no problems playing, why didn't he fulfill those commitments to the gigs in Nashville? He put all those people on the spot, and Carmine went on record stating, and he said this, and it's been in print. He said he thinks his career is over and it's done with. You know, he said that because, you know, the guy's been just burns too many bridges.
Yeah, and
I love Vinny's playing, and I'm telling everybody to support Vinny, and you should support him. But to do stuff like that, it's kind of hard to come back from.
Yeah. I don't know. I've heard, you know, rumblings here and there. Again, I don't follow the stuff, but I have heard of the proverbial bridge burning.
Yeah.
And this day and age, you can't do that. And I've come close to, you know, lighting a match on a couple, but you really can't do that, because unless you plan on retiring early, you know, which I'm going to retire somewhat in the future here, but which I'll never retire. But you can't burn the bridges or do that kind of stuff, especially people that are sticking their neck out or offering up their talent to
Absolutely.
Help. And, you know, Vinny,
that's all I'm saying. I'm not bad mouthing him in any way whatsoever. You know, I felt for you guys. I'm telling you, Todd, what I saw on there was just like, I was like, holy crap, you know, you guys was shocked just like I was, you know?
Yeah.
But listen, water under the bridge, I guess. You're moving on. You moved on to bigger and better things. I told you I'll support you with whatever you come out with. I'm a huge fan. I always will be. I'm looking forward to your 3, count them 3, ladies and gentlemen, albums coming out. His autobiography, hopefully some gigs with Return of the Comet, and maybe, just maybe, we can see 4 by Fate again. Hey, is Rob Affuso involved with any of the solo projects?
My stuff right now, actually, no. With his own, John? I don't know. We haven't talked about that. He was actually supposed to come out and visit and stay in our motorhome out in the Bay here, but that, you know, because COVID got canceled. So I haven't spoken to him about what he's doing on any level. And that would be nice if he did, you know, for some fans, but I have no idea at this point.
John Reagan, is he involved with you?
Reagan is always doing stuff. For me, no. None of them are involved with my stuff. Return of the Comet may brush up some live tracks we did, and I was even thinking about writing a song and sending it through email for everybody to contribute their part.
Why don't you call it Return of the Comet Live +1 or Live +2?
Yeah, there you go.
Anyway, Rob Affuso, John Regan, you have an open invitation on this show. I reached out to you guys. I'd love to have you. I'd love to have you guys. Well respected, and I love everything you guys do.
I'll bounce a note to all of them.
Yeah, and Todd, this has been a pleasure. It's a long time. I always use that word. It's a long time coming because I'm a fan, and being a fan of yours for this long, and to finally meet you and talk to you and get a lot of questions answered, I really had a blast. So
appreciate that. I had fun too, and I really thank you for doing this.
Anytime, you're welcome back. And when you come out with the solo CDs, you can come back. You have an open invitation. Yep. So you're on Facebook. They can friend you on Facebook. Are you on Instagram or Twitter?
On Instagram. I'm also on Clout Hub and Parlor, but I have to reorganize the Parlor because it just came back up again.
Right. As far as a website?
The website is still todhowarth.com. It's being rebuilt right now. My son is redoing it.
Yeah, because I know I tried to get on and I couldn't get on it. So we'll get everything through Facebook. Also, your stuff is all over my page, my personal page and my show page.
Fantastic.
But Todd, I want to thank you very much. And we're going to see you soon. And a lot of good things are coming your way. I can feel it.
Ralph, I appreciate you. And thank you so very much for doing this. And everybody out there and all the people follow you and listen to you. Thanks so much, buddy. I'll talk to you soon, huh?
You got it. Let me just.
Fantastic.